Hi everyone, Roy Osherove here. You might have read my book, The Art of Unit Testing. Well, this 5-day course is based on that book. Now, in my book, The Art of Unit Testing, I deal only with a specific skill, and that skill is how to write good unit tests. However, to do test-driven development, I believe 3 different skills are necessary. You have the skill of unit testing, of writing good unit tests. Then you have the skill of writing them test first. You can still write crappy tests first. So there are 2 separate skills there. And then there's the skill of design, and that is how do you refactor the code as you write the tests. And I don't teach that skill, either in the book or in this course. However, this course does teach both the unit testing, good unit testing aspects, and the test-driven aspect. And I leave the design skill to a separate course, because I believe that if you learn all 3 skills at the same time, learning will be much more difficult. So what is this course about? On the first day, I teach the basics of unit testing. We start from absolute zero. You don't need any knowledge writing unit tests. However, the demos will be in C#. That means that if you know Java, the demos will make just as much sense, or if you know C++, it should just work. The techniques of writing good unit tests are not language specific, so it should be okay. So the first day is on writing good tests and then writing them test first. On the second day, we talk about mock objects, stubs, fakes, and isolation frameworks. And here we basically, in the real course, this is usually divided into 2 days, but here we're going to do it in the same day. And I talk about the idea of mock objects, handwritten mock objects, the difference from stubs, and how I call all of them fakes. Then I move on to isolation frameworks, and I deal with constrained versus unconstrained isolation frameworks. And these are very important concepts, specifically because you do need to know when to use mock objects and when not to use them. And most of the time you should not be using them. On the third day, we talk about test reviews. We talk about what makes tests better. So we take the knowledge that I explained informally on the first day, and then we transfer it into review system, to a review system where we take a look at other people's source code, open source code on the web, and review that code to try to find interesting things that we can change during the tests, that we can make the tests better, more readable, maintainable, and trustworthy. Now, this is an important skill because learning to review other people's tests is going to help you to drive unit testing into your organization. You see, if you're the only one writing good tests in your organization and everyone else writes crappy tests, those crappy tests can actually hurt your project, and so the adoption curve will not last. On the fourth day, which in real life is usually the 5th day, included with some more things, I talk about legacy code. And here, this is usually the most challenging aspects for most of us. So I discuss when would you want to write unit tests against legacy code, and we deal with refactoring techniques to make code more testable. So I show extract and override, what to do with static classes, and I also show as a bonus how to use unconstrained frameworks, in this case type-mock isolator, to test legacy code, which is basically untestable without refactoring. On the 5th day of this course, I discuss some more advanced scenarios, assuming that you know all the stuff from before. We'll talk about deep fakes at legacy deep fakes, which is a method for separating code from the system it's based on. Think SharePoint or ASP.NET code which inherits from the framework it relies on. And I also discuss how to use extract and override to create validation rules testable. So imagine validation that needs many rules to work. How do you test each rule separately? So that's the basic outline of the course. I've been teaching this for more than 6 or 7 years. Every time I teach it, it's different. The course you're seeing now was recorded, most of it was recorded around January, between January and second half of 2012. So it's very, very recent. I talk about all the things that I also talk about in the second edition of my Art of Unit Testing book. So this course is very, very recent. For example, I don't use Rhinomocks. I talk about Fake It Easy and why I like that kind of framework. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Cheers.